Nearly 1.2 million more Americans filed for first time jobless benefits last week. Now, that is less than forecast, but still shockingly high. And there is less optimism this morning that the government could be stepping in to help the millions of Americans that are unemployed. Top Democrats and White House officials are still far apart and now signaling there may not be a stimulus deal before tomorrow's self imposed deadline. Now, some Republicans are floating a $25 billion bailout for the airline industry. And the president is once again saying he could take unilateral action on things like a payroll tax cut. Let's take a look at how all of this is impacting the markets here in the early going. We have stock futures modestly higher. They've been searching for direction all morning long. Right now, Dow futures up 35. We've got NASDAQ futures gaining 16 and S&P futures holding close to the flat line. Let's dig deeper into today's news on the jobs front with Yahoo Finance's Emily McCormick. So, Emily, the coronavirus pandemic continuing to take a toll on the labor market. What's the latest?
Well, Alexis, taking a look at this jobless claims report we got this morning, the number of new unemployment insurance claims improved last week to a pandemic era low, but did hold above the 1 million mark for a 20th straight week as the coronavirus outbreak continues to weigh on that pace of recovery in the labor market. Now, taking a look at those numbers, we had initial jobless claims for the week ending August 1st coming in at 1.19 million. That was less than the 1.4 million that had been expected, and it was down by 249,000 from the prior week's revised level. Now, since the week ending March 20th, more than 55 million Americans have now filed for new unemployment insurance claims. But again, at 1.19 million, the number of new claims that we saw last week was at its lowest point since the start of the pandemic, after peaking at about 6.9 million in late March. Now, this is also the first decline in new claims that we've seen in 3 weeks after we did experience back-to-back increases in mid-July. Now, last week, nearly every U.S. state reported declines in their levels of unadjusted new claims, including the states in the South and West that had been grappling with a rise in coronavirus cases in recent weeks. We saw California and Florida bring down their number of unadjusted new claims by 16,000 and 17,500 respectively. Finally, want to take a look at those continuing claims. Those also fell more than expected. They are reported on a 1-week lag. So for the week ended July 25th, we saw 16.1 million continuing claims versus the 16.9 million that had been expected. And again, just taking a look at the market reaction here, we did see stock futures pair losses and actually turn positive in the wake of this report. And it was better than expected. Alexis?